Welcome back to Combust Astrology. My name's Liv. Today I'm going to be covering the full moon in Capricorn. So this happens on the 10th of July, and just pulled up the chart. Oh yeah, nice. How amazing. All right, so let's dive into this and what I think, etc., etc. So no matter where, this lunation is happening in your chart, the key themes right now are clearly about a nice reset. I think it is the structure of you and what you feel like you need to do versus the version of you that can have a nice little bit of peace with that. If we look at the other major planets, or I guess minor in some people's opinion. So Jupiter is in Cancer. That's a nice feeling. Mars is in Virgo, soon to be moving its way into Libra. That's a lesser good feeling because it's a little bit angsty. Mercury is in Leo. Now, in the actual lunation chart of this full moon, what you'll notice is that we have a little bit of this rectangle formation. The Mars and the Sun sextile, while the Moon and the North Node sextile. In the middle of that, Pluto is going to still be trining both Uranus and Venus. Jupiter is a bit of ways of squaring the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, but Saturn and Neptune still sextile the Pluto. So these three configurations are what sticks out to me. The first one being that, not grand square, but rectangle, is actually it's usually a good lunation. It's a good feeling, usually. And in the middle of that, we have this giant X between the North Node and Mars and the Moon and the Sun. And this looks like actions of old versus the new version of you, iterated twice. Habits where you feel like you have to do something to get everything together versus allowing what will happen to happen. And then not letting yourself emotionally express to now feeling okay to do that. It's like a really good change. Now, Mercury is going to retrograde all the way until August pretty soon. And as we start this now, it's kind of like when we had the retrogrades before. What I desire versus what it is that gives me shelter. But that was in Mars. And Mercury, it's most likely going to be the same theme, like I said, but it's going to be more so around whether or not what I desire is being noticed or not by people around me. And then the Venus conjunct Uranus is so much more, well, what are my options? What is real right now? It's a scattering in a way, because the simple way of doing something that you've been doing and getting the results that you don't really want isn't really going to work when the whole point is evolving to that next version of yourself that can receive, and having faith and trusting what you need will actually happen through the work that you've already done. There doesn't have to be excess. And so Pluto, although retrograded, having a sextile to Saturn and Neptune, along with this feeling, is almost like a rain of so much different scattered people that it's like what makes sense versus what feels good. Makes that little mini, I don't know what it's called. I think no, that's not a basket. It's like the mini T-square, but it's like a nice trine. So this seems to be the overall energy of the full moon, in my personal opinion. I think that realism is great as you need it, but faith is still a must to get through a lot of things in this current life, especially with the way that things are. And that's what this lunation looks like to me. We created a really nice nesting safe space prior when we had let me see if I can pull it up, when we had that new moon that was in Cancer. And so now the change here is, as we stepped outside, making that again, but still having that faith. It's a balance between these charts. I can't pull it up. But it's a balance between that wanting for the faith and the new version of you with realism and how much work you have to put in. And this is the disruptor that comes into it to allow that to potentially happen in this square or rectangle formation there. That's pretty much it. Based on your sign, looking at where that Capricorn versus Cancer is and where you want to see if all the stuff that you've done before through the acts of love with that new moon come into fruition to where you can have it now. Or if you just simply have to start over and let that go, and that's not enough. Either way, it's in the process of growing you. All right. I don't believe in rambling too much and getting straight to the point, and that's the point that I'd come across. So thank you so much for watching, and take care.